Welcome, strangers, strangelings, and Strangecetera, to Strangetober here on Madamestrangeways with me, Madamestrangeways. It's time for another Strangeoween minisode. Before we get to our true strange stories, though, just a quick reminder, if you're watching or reading a whole lot more spooky stuff lately and you're finding that you're a little bit more anxious than usual, remember that you can feel afraid and not be in danger. Nothing in these stories can hurt you. Probably, definitely, maybe, definitely can't hurt you. And a quick thank you to my Patreon patrons who help make the podcast possible. TJ Hodder of Tapes of Trepidation, Gmanmusic, Ted, Keith, and Tori. Now, it sounds like it's about to rain Hellcats and Hellhounds outside, so you know what that means. On to our true Strangetober Strangeoween mini-stories, here with Madam Strangeways. The Moving Janitorial Cart by Standard Debate. This just happened about a half hour ago. I work in a hospital as security, my shifts being 12 hours overnight on weekends when less staff are here. There's been stories about hauntings, and I've seen some stuff through cameras and in the property's secondary building, historical building built in the late 1800s. But I've never had this happen in the main hospital. I was in the basement with a housekeeper, and we were just chatting, shooting the breeze and whatnot. Now, for context, the tunnel connecting the main building to the secondary is down here, as well as the morgue. And a very important detail, the lights down here are motion activated. Anyway, while I and the housekeeper were just hanging out for a moment, we heard the sound of a janitorial cart moving in the tunnel hallway. Not uncommon, as housekeeping is here until 2300 or 0000 hours. The housekeeper said, "Oh, that must be the supervisor." We peeked around the corner into the tunnel hallway, and the lights were off. Very strange. Being security, obviously I have to go check it out. I stepped into the hallway and the lights came on. There, in the center of the hallway, was the janitorial cart, unattended. The housekeeper freaked out. This specific janitorial cart has supplies needed for waxing floors on it and only surfaces maybe once or twice a month, and is supposed to be against the wall beside the housekeeping office. Instantly, we got goosebumps. The hairs on our arms and the back of the neck are standing. Housekeeper nopes the heck out of there, leaving me standing there staring at this cart. After a moment, I went back to my office and told my partner about it, knowing he'd get a kick out of it. My partner tells me, "Oh, we had a code blue during the day that ended in a morgue admit." I wish I could say I'm used to these things happening, but it always scares me. I saw my brother in my room, but he wasn't home. By Avanoon. Backstory. This happened when I was 12 years old. I am a female, and my older brother, Caleb, was 16. I've never written a Reddit story before, so apologies if my writing isn't perfect. I was alone in my room when my brother, Caleb, came in to ask me something. I don't exactly remember what we talked about, but the conversation only lasted about 2 minutes. I do remember saying thank you before he left my room. A few minutes later, my parents came home after being out for dinner and called out for Caleb, but there was no answer. My mom asks me, "Is Caleb home?" I told her, "Yeah, he just came into my room." We both called out to him and looked around the house, but we quickly realized that, well, he definitely wasn't home. My mom ended up calling him, and he said he was at a friend's house and had been there for about 2 hours. But considering I had just seen him in my room 15 minutes ago, that didn't add up. When Caleb got home, I spoke to him about it, and he told me he didn't remember coming into my room at all. He insisted that he'd been at his friend's house the whole time. Keep in mind, Caleb is usually very kind to me and definitely not the type to prank anyone, so I 100% believe him when he says he didn't come in. Needless to say, I couldn't sleep for a while after that. This story has become a bit of a family legend. If anyone has any insight into what could have happened, I'd appreciate it. I'm really into the paranormal and have heard about mimic spirits or demons, but I haven't read much into it. Could this encounter be something like that? Paranormal Experience at Work by Anonymous. I worked at an assisted care living facility. It was the original hospital for the town, so it was old. I had known people that said it was super haunted, but I never experienced anything weird, and I worked overnight sometimes. One night, I was sitting in an alcove, where the computer was, on the first floor. It was right around 1 a.m. I hear a blood-curdling scream, like right outside my space. It sounds like a lady. I jump up thinking, oh no, what happened? And it's obviously one of my patients. No one. There was no one there. There were only 2 patients on that floor, so I ran into their rooms seconds after the scream, thinking maybe sound carried weird. Both were completely asleep. Okay, weird, but carry on. I go and sit in the gathering room about 20 feet from the alcove, still main floor, same hallway. Another scream. I could see in both directions of the hallway, and no one was there. It was so loud and piercing. It was extremely unsettling, and I still have no clue what it was about. I called my brother to settle myself. Weird. Thank you for joining me for more true, strange stories of the unexplained. Remember that you can feel afraid and not be in danger. You're safe here with me. Probably. Please follow the podcast, leave a rating on Spotify or Apple, or tell your friends and foes about the show. It would mean the world to me. The underworld, obviously. I mean, come on, was that not clear? Madam Strangeways is produced and narrated by me, Madam Strangeways. Theme music is by Marina Ryan at marinamakes.co. Cover art is by Andrea Giselle Roldan at Cult of Teddy on Instagram. You can submit your own true strange story at madamestrangeways.com or email it to madamestrangeways@gmail.com. See you soon, she said ominously. Housekeeper nopes the heck out of there, leaving me standing there staring at the plane overhead